Good morning. Welcome to the Carla Marie and Anthony Show. My name is Anthony.
I'm Carla Marie.
This is the show. I want to see if we had anyone that joined the show. We didn't. We have Pikachu still.
What?
That's about it. Like an additional member, maybe a producer or something, you know?
Okay.
Welcome. So, a couple things we got to talk about today. Obviously, NCAA basketball is all done. You had the women's championship on Sunday, the men's championship yesterday. Shout out to LSU and UConn. I think it was Henry I was chatting with yesterday. Big UConn fan, Henry in Connecticut. Let me double check to make sure.
That makes sense.
Yep, it was Henry Davidson. And, man, sucks.
You're not a UConn fan.
I'm not a UConn fan. I am happy for the UConn fans because I can imagine, I'll probably never know, but I can imagine it's a really great feeling to see your team win a national championship. Same with LSU. And don't laugh too hard. Rutgers probably not winning a championship either.
You don't know that. Princeton and FDU went as far as...
Not a championship.
Yeah, but could you imagine? Rutgers did that, I'd die.
It's crazy to think that in New Jersey, and we're gonna jump away from this in a second, but in New Jersey, the two powerhouse schools you have are Seton Hall and Rutgers in basketball. They're the biggest. They have the biggest budgets, biggest schools, so on and so forth. And over the last 15 years, the New Jersey schools who have gone the furthest in the NCAA tournament are Fairleigh Dickinson, St. Peter's, and Princeton.
That's funny.
Yeah. Yep. That's the world we live in. Also, Love is Blind. We have to talk about that. I unfortunately had to watch 2 episodes of that show. That's something. Bridezilla batch. I don't know.
It's not. I'm gonna just before my family starts attacking me. It's not about my niece.
Okay. And obviously, the Morning Show podcast is up and available wherever you get your podcasts. I see that we are in Hype Train level 4 today.
Cool.
So if we make it through level 4 and then obviously level 5, what are we drinking today, Carla Marie?
We're taking a shot of 21 Seeds tequila, but I brought some fresh lime juice to add to the shot today.
Okay.
I do. Apparently, UConn was chaos last night.
Like on campus?
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Oh, this is a fun message
What was that?
from Long. We met Long.
Oh, yeah.
It says, "Hi, Carla Marie and Anthony. It was so fun meeting you two at Carnival Cocktails this Saturday."
That was awesome. Thank you very much. Yeah, Long participated in one of the 2 Second Tunes games.
It was a finalist, right? It was Long and Miles, because I remember you saying
Yes.
the names oddly go together.
Yes, I do remember that. Shout out to Charity Gaming for the resub. Appreciate that. Erica B gifted 100 bits. Sunny Survivor, I think we said that, 5 gifted subs. So thank you to everyone who has gotten us this far into Hype Train level 4. And I think it does look much better with the Hype Train on the screen now.
Yeah.
Because if you're watching this on YouTube later, you're like, oh, that's what they're talking about.
I agree.
A little progress bar.
No, apparently UConn's on fire. Literally.
Guess they can't play basketball next year. Shucks.
Yeah, that would be, like, I think that should be a thing. If
What?
football gets fined like $100,000, right? When
For
they
what?
do things like that, like rush the field.
But that's on the field. So that's something that the NCAA, the governing body of college sports, can get involved with. But if it's just on their campus,
Okay.
they can't really do much. Now, if it became criminal, then the NCAA can suspend people. But
some people were arrested last
yeah,
night.
they'll be out this morning. They'll be
Listen,
fine.
My friend in college went to Siena University and lit a couch on fire on campus. I was not there. I was not a part of this. And it set a tree on fire. He got banned from campus.
Yeah.
I mean, that'll happen.
That will happen. Just remember, if you're going to set something on fire, there might be some repercussions for that. The couches on fire thing always confused me.
I mean, it happens in West Virginia all the time.
Yeah, I just never understood why the couch would be set on fire to begin with.
Because it's the easiest thing to set on fire. Like, it's going to take the flame the most. Like, you
Maybe.
can set a chair on fire, like a wooden chair, yeah, but... Ooh.
What?
Hype Train success.
Yeah, we've collected. So we completed 3 levels of the Hype Train. We got to level 4, and now it is done for the next hour.
What? Okay. Well, is level 5 just something we set?
Well, level 5 used to be the limit. Up until a couple months ago, the highest you could get to was level 5.
But why did it say level 4 just now? Like, woo.
Because we got to level 4.
Okay, it looked different for some reason today. 3 years in.
No, it's just you're not. I don't think you're used to seeing it on this screen.
I
It's
guess.
used to being in the chat, and sometimes we don't see it when it actually
That's fair.
finishes. All right, hype trend level 4. Thank you very much to everyone who got us there.
Woohoo! Thank you.
We're gonna come back to NCAA basketball. I
Okay.
feel like we've talked about that enough for now. But the thing I did mention in the morning show podcast, where there was a pair of cousins who were each playing for their national championship, one of the men's, one of the women's,
Yeah.
they both won.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a fun family reunion this summer. 2 national champions.
That's cool.
In the same family is pretty awesome.
I did see Heather on Long Island said, but if you average this with yesterday's level 7,
I don't think that's how this works.
like we had 4 yesterday, 7 yesterday, that gives us what, a 5.5?
Mm-hmm. I just don't think that's how it works. Dude, we can take the shot if you want to take the shot. That's up to you.
We'll take good.
All right.
And Martha said, drink. Ah. Ooh. I brought extras. Give you blue today.
Ooh. Should we bring the shot glasses back? Or does everyone who want a shot glass now have a shot
Like
glass?
to purchase?
Yeah.
You're asking me or them?
I don't know. Kind of throwing it out there for anyone.
Ooh, I love when I open it and I get hit in the face with a jalapeno.
Oh, Angela, it's your birthday. We will take a birthday shot for you.
Which Angela?
Angela in Spokane.
Happy birthday.
Well, are they both in Spokane?
No.
Okay.
One's in Cooley Dam.
Oh, so Angela in Cooley Dam. Sorry. Right? Did I get the right?
Was it?
Am I
Did it
placing-
literally say Angela in Spokane or
No.
did it say Ami? Okay, that's Angela in Cooley Dam.
Sometimes it's hard to remember where everyone's from.
I know. But you have like these, random knowledge about random things. You don't have space for that.
Exactly.
I have the space for it.
Yeah. Are you admitting that you don't know as many things as me?
I do know. I know more important things about the people that support us. I just
So what's this potion you're putting in here? Just lime juice?
Yeah, it's fresh lime. Because when we had Kat, the founder, on, she was the one that was like, when you're making a margarita with this, you really should use fresh lime juice. And I realized we had a little kit from Seattle Cocktail Club from something else that had fresh lime juice.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, a little mess here. A little sticky. Very sticky in my hands. Hit happy birthday.
Oh.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
Okay. Pour it up. Ooh.
For those of you who are new, the Arabic happy birthday song is how we celebrate happy birthday. Speaking of Arabic, my mom is headed to the motherland today. I thought she was going tomorrow, but my mom is going to Jordan and Palestine over the next week and a half. What?
Yeah, I asked you 7 times when your mom was leaving. You
Yeah.
kept telling me Wednesday.
I thought it was tomorrow. It's today. I just texted her. She's leaving in about an hour.
Cool.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
She sent you photos. Is she there already?
From the airport? Maybe. I literally just texted her. She said she's at the airport. So,
Airport.
cheers to you, Carla Marie. Cheers to everyone who supported the stream
Cheers.
yesterday and today. And obviously, shout out to 21 Seeds and our friends at Seattle Cocktail Club. I think I put too much lime juice.
I did put too much lime juice.
Here you go.
Oh, God, yeah, I put too much lime.
It's like a punch in the mouth.
Oh, it'll help your kidney stones.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware I had them. I might. Maybe they just haven't moved yet. I'm going to have to wash that down a little bit. I'm like, my throat is burning.
Okay, well.
For the record, that has nothing to do with the tequila. It has everything to do with all the lime juice that Carla Marie put in there.
Yeah. Oh, your mom's in here.
Oh, there she is. Hello, Mom.
What is
Enjoy your trip.
What's the weather like in Palestine this time of year?
I don't know. It's a great question. Are you Googling it?
No, I'm going to use the weather app.
Well, they're going to Jordan first. So check Jordan. And then I'm just going to do it on the computer, Carla Marie.
Why? I have the weather app.
Is it working?
Well, I had to turn off Wi-Fi. We don't have Jordan.
76 in Jordan.
What's the humidity? 16.
16, so not very humid at the
Okay.
moment. And then Palestine would be very similar. 74.
Humidity 85. Whew. Hope she packed her "You Look Great" hat.
All right, moving on though. I unfortunately had to watch 2 episodes of Love is Blind. Now, I will say this. I have not watched as the story has progressed from meeting the contestants to seeing them interact without seeing each other.
You saw like episodes 2 and 3. Or...
I saw an episode after they met in person
Okay.
in Mexico.
Yes.
And then I saw when they first got back to Seattle.
All right. Keep in mind, people are maybe catching up, so we'll try not to do spoilers.
And for people who don't know what Love is Blind is, explain the premise of the show. Because I'm not
Okay.
even fully
So
sure.
the whole idea is, the whole question of the show is love blind?
No.
And they put all these women live in like one apartment, right? And all these men live in another. And then there are these pods. And what Netflix does, they'll pair people up randomly, like first day. So a woman and a man in each pod. And they're just separated by like a wall that like is not a real wall. They can have a conversation through it. And that's how they meet. And they talk for like, it's like 5 days or a week. And you start like scheduling like dates. So your time in the pod becomes a date. And you start scheduling with people that you like and want to spend more time with. But now keep in mind, all these same women, very much like The Bachelor, are dating the same man, and very much like The Bachelorette. Like you're dating the same people.
Okay.
It's the same pool of people. But after the end of a few days, you decide like, okay, do we like each other enough to get married?
And that's it. It goes from not seeing each other to someone has to propose to someone else.
So you get engaged without seeing each other. Then you have the reveal. You meet each other. Then you go to Mexico for, I think it's a week or 2 weeks.
And that's your honeymoon.
No, you're not married yet. You're not on a honeymoon.
But that's like but you proposed, right?
Yes, but a honeymoon happens after you get married.
I understand that. So it's your proposal honeymoon.
Yes, it's we just met, let's go to Mexico. And when you're there, you also eventually get to meet the other couples that got engaged.
Okay.
So keep in mind now, if I'm in a pod and Anthony and I are talking, we like each other, but we end up ending the relationship and I get engaged to another guy, I go to Mexico. Now I meet this other guy that I had a connection with who's also engaged to someone else.
Yeah.
So that's where this drama starts happening. Then
What if no one proposes to you? Has anyone?
you go home. End of
That's
story.
it?
But they start bringing these people back
Okay.
later on. And then they go home. So they're almost everyone is like from the same place. So for example, this season is Seattle.
Mhm.
And now they're all home living together as if they were a real couple for 2 weeks, 3 weeks before getting married.
Okay.
And
So it's a trial phase.
then they start doing things like, oh, we're all going to meet up and go out. And then all of a sudden, like someone that was in the pods that no one's seen in like 2 weeks shows up to a birthday dinner. And you're like, oh my God, that's the one I had feelings for. And now I'm like not doing well with the person I'm engaged to. And all this drama starts happening.
Okay. So in all the dating shows that I've watched, whether it's The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, any of the other weird dating shows that have been out there, generally speaking, the cast of characters kind of is scattered throughout the spectrum of very likable to very dislikable.
Yes.
And the one thing that I've realized, at least in the episodes that I've watched, now remember, I don't know what any of the drama during the pods was or how people flirted or whatever. I've only seen 2 in-person episodes. The women on the show, at least this season, all terrible.
Yeah,
All like irredeemably terrible.
I agree with you, but you also missed when the men
I
suck.
know, and I said
know.
that, yeah.
It's okay, the only couple that, and I don't think you really saw much of them, Tiffany and Brett, anyone will tell you the same thing. There is one couple where
In this season.
both people are actually, you can tell they are good people. At least they haven't said or done anything like absolutely ridiculous, and you actually want them to succeed together. Everyone else, I'm like, just go home away from each other. You're terrible. There's just no.
The weird thing for me is I feel like most shows you're rooting for 1 or 2 people to like find their person because they just seem so kind and they seem nice and they seem like
But
they're a
also-
good match. Every one of them seems Terrible.
So-
and I feel bad because there's a chance I might run into one of these people
They
in
live here.
person.
So we'll get to that in a second. But you have to keep in mind, there is someone whose job it is, who was paid a full-time salary with benefits. Several people who work for Netflix who are like, let me find the worst people ever and put them together.
Yes.
Oh, this girl says she would never date a guy who is a rocket scientist. Well, let's put a rocket scientist into this equation. Like, and I say that because one of them is a rocket scientist. But they do this shit on purpose.
Yeah, but I think the difference with this show is if it's The Bachelor, right? If there's one, what do they call it? Not the main, what's the lead? If there's one lead person, it's easier to figure out drama because you can plant some people that wouldn't get along with that one person. But if the woman you're talking about, Carla, or the hypothetical woman says, I hate rocket scientists, and there's a rocket scientist on the show, they don't have to get matched up.
No, but
Right?
what if she could fall? They could almost force her to like him more. Oh, there's a time open with Paul today. Do you want to go meet with Paul? Like, when I tell you what they do, like, these shows are done so that this conversation happens. Now, with that said, today I was invited by Netflix to go to a Love is Blind day tour around Seattle. It's literally a 13-hour tour that I was like, guys, I'm sorry, I can't
13 hours is insane.
I can't do all, like, they're doing fun stuff all around the city all day, taking people around to show them all the different places that people, in the series did things. But at night there is an advanced screening of the next episode because they drop every week,
Okay.
and a dinner with some of the cast.
Oh, God.
So I'm meeting them up for the screening and dinner.
I hope they're much nicer and kinder and cooler in person.
Well, I can't imagine they're just, mind you, we're only seeing like
I know.
seconds. But now,
And we've known people who have been on dating shows. We know how it's manipulated, the editing and all that stuff. But, and I'll say this a million times, and even the people who have been on the shows will say this. Even when it's edited, you have to admit that you said the
those
things
things,
that you
yes.
said. Every now and then, can something be taken completely out of context? Absolutely. But if there are more than one, if there's more than one instance of you doing this annoying
Yeah.
thing, there's probably a good chance that's part of who you are.
So I was talking to Yuritsa yesterday. Yuritsa used to work for Elvis Duran in the morning show. She became the phone op after we left, and that was my job. So she was like the next position that I had. I don't even know what the hell I just said. And I was talking to her because she looks like one of the women on the show, Jackie. And she was like, everyone keeps telling me this.
They're very similar.
And so we started talking about the show and different things about it. And I was like, I hate saying this. I hate saying that I don't like people without meeting them. I understand. I was like, but Irina, man, she's just a bully and I can't handle it. And she's like, and I said to Yuritsa, she actually had to put out like an apology video. And Yuritsa's like, I'm so over these reality show apology videos because you said it. You
Yeah.
did it. If you were a bully in real life and you were a bully on the show, I don't want to hear it.
So Irina's the one that looks like Yuritsa or reminds us of Yuritsa?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying that's how our conversation started. 'cause
Okay.
Yuritsa looks like Jackie. If you watch the
Jackie,
show,
okay.
it looks exactly like her.
Jackie was the one, and I don't know if anyone watches this show, and if you don't, I'm going to try to explain why I feel the way
Yeah.
about these people. Jackie was the one who, when I first was introduced to her in the episodes that I watched, I disliked the most, but she is the only one that came close to redeeming herself because she acknowledged her shitty traits and slightly apologized for them and mentioned that she's been working on that. But she was legitimately mean too.
Oh, absolutely. Oh,
And-
you didn't even see
and
it. Gets worse.
It's like the guys on the show are punching bags. Oftentimes for the women. I feel like the women have been so mean
they have.
to so many of almost every
But
one of
here-
the guys.
But I will tell you this. You're right. Those guys may not deserve it. But also, I'm willing to bet these women have dealt with such crappy men so much. And it's
I
not
don't doubt
their fault.
it. It's not their fault though.
It's not. But also, like, the one woman's like, I love my house clean, and I love all this stuff, and I, like, follow the schedule. She is, like, very independent, adult, ready to get married, have babies. Like, this is her life. And then she finally gets to go to her now fiance's house, and he has dirty socks on the kitchen counter, an open thing of toothpaste, and I'm like, girl, run. Like, I'm just
Yeah,
telling you. It's not gonna
agreed.
work. Yeah.
Run.
Agreed.
Then the one thing, and I feel like this is a very small example of a larger problem we have in society.
Oh.
Who is, she's kind of like the most basic looking blonde girl.
Micah.
No, Micah's the one with the windshield wiper eyelashes, right?
Chelsea.
Chelsea is the most basic looking of, and I'm not saying basic in a bad way. She looks like the most average. If you told a cop, what are the people that draw the mug shots, the sketchers,
Sketchers or sneakers?
the people who sketch artists.
Yes.
If you told one of them draw a white woman, they would draw her.
Yes.
I
I hope none of them watch the show.
No, I'm not saying it. It's not a bad thing. That's just she's a very generic
What if
looking
I
white
become
girl.
friends with one of them?
Then that's what she is. She's a generic. One of my best friends in college, he actually ended up being my roommate, we used to call him, what was his nickname?
Yeah, but you were friends first, then you called him this.
Yeah, but it was because every time you went to go make your character in any video game, he was the base model that you would start with.
That's funny.
He never had to change anything in settings when he was making his own character. He would just go, default,
That's
done.
funny.
Yeah. She said something, and I'm gonna butcher her name. So Chelsea is her name,
We're
Right?
the same person.
and who's she dating?
Kwame.
Yes, yeah, he's the one in Portland.
Yes.
Okay, so Chelsea and
Brother
Kwame.
alert.
Chelsea, I will say, it seems like the two of them at this point in the show, want to make this thing work. I get it. But she keeps dropping these little hints at one of the things I hate the most about the relationship world is she keeps dropping hints like, well, that's what getting married's like. That's what married life is like. And it's always a negative, terrible thing. It's like, oh yeah, I like to play Xbox when I go home. Well, you won't be able to when you're married.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with being married.
It's
If
like,
you have
oh, well,
kids,
I just
you
don't-
can say,
I just
well,
don't
you're going to
know.
play it less.
If I like doing this one thing, well, that's not what you can say when you're married. And I feel like there's this weird thing that married culture tries to do to single culture, where it's like, we're going to ruin everything you love. Oh, do you love traveling with your friends? Can't do that when you're married. Oh, do you love your private time? Can't do that when you're married.
I don't think they do it with that.
they do.
That.
They do. It's a shake. It's a hip shake.
Yeah.
But it's such a weird phenomenon.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you enjoy that thing you do? Well, I can't do that anymore. Now I'm married.
It's funny. I'm reading a book about a couple. Well, not about a couple. About a female country artist. I'll talk about it when I'm done because the author sent it to me and I'm so pumped. And she's born in the 20s.
Okay.
So she gets married in the early 50s and she's like in her 20s and her husband makes her quit everything that she does. All of her jobs, like singing, everything, because he's like, no, you're married now. You have to be home. And I'm like,
Yeah.
fired up and like reading it. I'm like, ah.
And what I was saying was not just men giving up. I'm saying the collective, right? Anyone getting married. Someone
like,
always tries to make you believe like you're going to lose something you love because you
Yeah,
want to get married.
But I feel like, yes, but also that happens less now because so many people are well into either their relationship, like before they get married, because you play video games 7 hours a day now. So if I would be like, oh, we get married, you have to stop. There's nothing different about our life.
What do you mean?
Like you play, like, it's not like you're living alone now.
No.
You know what I mean? So if we were to get married, what is changing?
Yeah, I don't
Literally
know.
nothing.
I don't know. But it's this weird thing. Married people do it all the time. And it's a weird marketing ploy. Hey, do you want to do this thing that I'm doing? Well, give up everything you love.
This thing that I'm doing?
No, like that's the marketing ploy for marriage. If marriage had a PR team, that's what their messaging
They
would
should
be.
get a PR
it's
team
terrible
because-
messaging.
Because they need one.
Like we have a cousin, and her husband always reminds me of all the things he can't do now that he's married with kids. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Every time I
Okay,
tell him
well-
I'm going snowboarding, oh man, I wish I could do that. Married with kids, can't do it.
I mean, you can do it. It's harder and you do it less because you do have humans to
Yeah.
take care of.
I'm not saying that you can't adjust your life. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying the marketing of making this sound like a terrible prison
Right.
is probably not great marketing.
I mean, it's probably also a little bit true.
But that's terrible marketing. Why would anyone get
I'm not
married if
saying
it was true?
Well, what I'm saying is it probably is partly true. Not marketing, just it is.
We have we have a message in the chat. It's not the marriage that's the problem, it's the kids. I could see that. And
Yeah.
obviously your life is going to change anytime you adjust your living situation,
Could be a pet.
right? It's always going to change. But saying it outwardly and often to single people is not going to make single
know.
people want to join that club.
Okay. For example, it's just funny now that my family, my older sister doesn't do it to me. My brother will say things like, well, like, when are you going to have kids? And I'm like, do you remember when I was 13 or 13 through 18, right? A very vulnerable, moldable age.
Yeah.
When you and your wife would constantly say to me, and I'm not like making this up, don't have kids. They suck. Your life is over. Your life is ruined. Kids suck. I'm telling you, don't do it. Don't get married. Just live on your own. Blah, blah. Between ages 13 through 18, what do you think happened to my brain?
Yeah.
Okay? You could have said to me, kids are great, and maybe I still would have had the same outcome of, like, I don't want to do this. And then I turned 21. I'll never forget. Someone said something, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to have kids. And they're like, you will have kids. And I was like, I wasn't put on this earth to have kids, which technically, I mean, I guess we all were supposed to procreate, but there's too many of us now, so we don't have to. And I said this at 21, and it caused, like, an eruption in my family to, like, yell at me and be like, no, like, this is what you're supposed to do. And I was like, no, it's not. Like, if I don't want to have kids, I don't have to have kids. Now for the most part, like, my parents never, ever, ever ask me, because they are also fulfilled in the grandparents department, never ask me. My older sister's like, listen, if you want to do it, go for it. If not, that's fine. But just know, like, you're getting older and whatever. She'll talk to me about that kind of stuff. But no one ever pressures me anymore.
Mhm.
But I remember that being like, what do you think is going to happen when you constantly tell someone,
Yeah.
marriage sucks, kids suck.
Again, bad
don't
marketing.
do this. Yeah.
Bad marketing.
But it's bad marketing from people who are in it. So is it real marketing?
There was a comment that was up on the screen before.
it.
I want to say it was Jersey Quinn said, I have kids, love them, don't recommend. 0 out of
See?
10. But back, so I want to move on from Love is Blind. We can't spend our whole show talking about them. And I do hope these people are much better than the show has made them look. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Because the thing I always go back to is our friend Taylor, who was on
Bachelor.
whose season was she on?
Nick
Vial's season of The Bachelor. They did make her look like an absolute villain on the show, and she's not a terrible person. So, and I get that. They're going to make certain people look great, certain people look bad. It's TV, it's entertainment. I get it. So I'm going to assume all of these people are much better in person than they are on
I
the
sure
show.
hope so.
Let's see. Jordan Puyallup said, that is the exact situation I'm in, but I still get to still get slide comments about why we only have one grandbaby. Feel robbed.
That's what
that's what the parents are saying.
The parents are saying.
Tell them they should have had more kids
Yeah.
to up their chances of grandchildren. They seem lazy to me.
My parents have 11 grandkids, so
That's got to get expensive at some point, right?
yeah, it's so stupid.
Like all the different birthdays and communions and,
I
and
can't. Don't even.
graduations.
I'm like, what? Easter? God only knows how much my mom
Okay.
spent on Easter baskets.
is this a normal white person thing? Or is it just your family?
Oh no, Easter baskets. Ask anyone in here that's grew up. I'd say Italian Catholic
It's Easter gifts.
baskets.
And what do you put, like, how much does a basket run?
Could be anything. Like I remember, I would get like bathing suits and beauty products when I was in high school.
See, I remember getting, like, the regular whatever, not Walmart, because we didn't really have those in Jersey.
Yes, Lisa, money dangling from the top of the basket.
See, I don't remember any of that. I just remember getting, like, the regular Easter basket you could buy from, like, a CVS, right? It was a plastic basket. It had, like, the cellophane, and it had some chocolate in it. Like, that's the only thing I really remember from getting
Megan,
Easter
my mom
gifts.
still makes Easter baskets for me and my sister. We're 32. I'll still get something.
Like, what? What are you going to get? You're going home for Easter this week. What are you going to get?
I don't know.
What did you get last year?
We'll see. I don't remember.
Huh.
But I may or may not have seen some stuff when I was
Wow, so
home.
people really do this. Fred said we got Easter baskets until 3rd grade.
Would you like me to make you an Easter basket of
No.
meat? Because you can eat meat.
No, I'm good.
All right, good.
No, the best part about being Orthodox is all of our Easter stuff is super cheap usually. Every now and then, I want to say it's like every 6 years, our Easters are on the same day. And that sucks for us because now we have to pay full price like a bunch of suckers. The best is so this year, Orthodox Easter and Catholic Easter
A week apart.
are a week apart. So like this is our Palm Sunday where it's the main Easter. But the
Wait,
best,
explain that again because you said that weird.
so Orthodox Easter, Orthodox
Okay.
Palm Sunday is this Sunday,
But it's Catholic Easter.
but it's Catholic Easter. Because it's also Protestant. I don't want to it's not just Catholic. It's
Okay.
if you're Baptist, Protestant,
Yeah, yeah.
if you're any of those things. If you're non-Orthodox,
Okay, there you go.
it is your Easter. The best, though, is when our Easters are like 5 weeks apart because then you get super discounts on everything. You wait about 2.5 weeks, you go to Walgreens
When are they ever 5 weeks apart?
every now and then. Yeah, there's times where they
All
could
right,
be
don't-
over a month apart. Usually it's a week or two, but based on whatever calendars we're using.
Okay, so would you like me to put together an Easter basket for you?
Nope,
All right.
I'm good.
Next year it's 5 weeks
There
apart.
you go. Thank you, Martha. Next year.
Is that mean it's going to be on like Mother's Day for you?
Something like that.
That's silly.
But this is the thing we have to worry about, me and Martha, is the discounts are great, but if you wait too long, they're off the
gone.
shelves.
You're getting Halloween candy.
Yeah, exactly. You're using American flags for 4th of July in your Easter basket. Right? Would that be the next one? The next like big holiday? Mother's Day
Mother's
is
Day,
the thing, but
Father's
like
Day.
do people buy decorations for Mother's Day? And
No.
Father's Day?
Lisa said, no. You have to experience the Italian Easter basket one time in your life.
When they end up being the same time, because that will happen at some point,
Am I going to tell my mom to make you one?
you're gonna have to.
Okay.
You're gonna have to welcome this Orthodox person into your non-Orthodox family.
Great question, Claire. So I'm going home for Easter tomorrow morning. My flight is at 5:20 a.m. because I'm an idiot. And I'll be in New Jersey for like 6 days. So I'll do 2 shows of Twitch from New Jersey, a few episodes of the Morning Show podcast from there. But are you going home when I come back for your Easter?
I'm not. No. That was it. That was easy. No, my mom is actually going to be in the motherland. I think she's going to be in
That's cool.
Bethlehem or Jerusalem for our Orthodox Easter, which is like a pretty big to do.
Yeah. So you're not going to go home because your mom's not there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't either.
Going back up though, so we covered Love Is Blind. We are out of that. NCAA basketball wrap up. So we started talking about this a little earlier, but I know Carla Marie, you wanted to talk about the women's game.
Oh, well, yeah, the 2 women's games technically.
Okay.
So Friday night was the Final Four games. So you had the 2 games to get to, obviously, who was going to play in the championship. And first of all, set ESPN records. They were the most watched college basketball games on ESPN ever,
Until the finals on Sunday.
which was wild. So then you had Caitlin Clark, who plays for Iowa. And in that game, she did this.
She did the John Cena.
John Cena. It went viral. John Cena retweets it and is like, even if they could see you, they couldn't guard you. Awesome. Like, carry on. Caitlin Clark does that. Caitlin Clark, white, brunette, female. Okay. You'll understand why I'm saying
and
that.
probably a top 2 player in women's college basketball.
Yes. Then we go to the game on Sunday. Caitlin Clark's team plays LSU.
Mhm.
LSU ends up winning, but near the end of the game, Angel Reese, who is a black female player for LSU, does this to Caitlin Clark.
Mhm.
She also does this to show, like, I'm about to get a ring. They're trash
Well,
talking.
LSU smoked Iowa.
Yes, trash talking. As we see in plenty of NBA games.
Yeah.
As we see in plenty of college basketball games. But the world erupted.
Mhm.
How dare Angel Reese from LSU do this to Caitlin Clark? That is unsportsmanlike. That is, I'm sure someone said unladylike. I haven't seen it, but I'm sure it's not. It's not.
A lot
right.
of it was calling Reese classless.
Classless. There's actually a list of words that were used for Caitlin Clark and a list of words I saw used for Angel Reese in headlines, and I was like, this is
Yeah.
like, it's scary how different it is. And I was like, wait, has everyone forgotten the fact that Caitlin Clark did this
Yeah.
2 days ago?
So there are differences, and
Yeah.
I will say Caitlin Clark's was less demonstrative because the angles they used of it's Angel Reese, right?
yes.
It looks like she was a little more in Caitlin Clark's face than when Caitlin Clark did it
Yeah, but in
a
the
game
photo
prior.
that went viral of Caitlin Clark, you don't even see the other player.
Exactly. And I think that's the point, is the way that it was edited made it look a little worse for Angel Reese because it looks like she's doing it in Caitlin Clark's face.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about sports. If you don't want people talking crap and showboating in front of you, you beat them.
Yes. Yes.
Angel Reese and LSU stomped out Iowa. And everyone loved Caitlin Clark.
Mhm.
She was the
I loved
golden
her.
child of the tournament, and deservingly so. She was the best player, the best individual player in the women's tournament.
So she, in the whole tournament, scored 191 points, which is the most points ever by a player, male or female, to score ever in an NCAA tournament. She beat out someone from the 70s who had 177 points.
But LSU was a much better team
Yes.
overall. It was better coached. It was a better team. And my problem, and a lot of people are saying it's a non-issue. I agree. It's a non-issue. Players, especially in basketball, if you watch any basketball game, pro, college, there is a lot of posturing. There is a lot of trash talk. There's a lot of it.
We trash talked at cheerleading competitions.
And just because you may have liked one person, not like the other, a lot of this does end up falling on racial sides of this.
Mhm.
It's very much a non-issue that is being blown up to be made a much bigger issue than it should be. And the more it gets blown up, the more you see the racial divide in our country.
And you know what's crazy is one day those two women are going to go be on the same WNBA team together and they're going to
Hopefully.
be friends and they're going to support each other. And it's just, this is sports. And when people
Yeah.
are like, oh, women are supposed to pick each other up, like, yeah, but it's like, come on, it's a sport. Trash talk. And when I tweeted about it, I think it was Fred who said something like, I'm Gen X. We trash talked everybody. This stuff bothers me none. But then someone responded and said that Angel Reese apparently followed Caitlin Clark around the court
And
afterwards.
that was the thing that
All right.
it looked like
After the
Angel
game.
Reese. Oh, afterwards, I didn't see that
Yeah.
part. But on the court, it looked like Angel Reese was specifically going after Caitlin Clark one or two times, maybe three, which made it look worse. And you know what? That might be true.
Yeah.
But if Caitlin Clark wanted to end that, she could have maybe willed her team to win. And then Angel Reese wouldn't have been able to point to the finger and say
Okay.
she's getting a ring.
So here are the words that, like, this is a quote. These are all quoted words that were used about Caitlin Clark, the white female player for Iowa. Queen, competitive, good for the sport, champion in our hearts. These are the words used for Angel Reese, the black female player at LSU. Thug, ghetto, unprofessional, bad for the sport, carried, fake champion.
I just saw Lisa said now the White House wants to invite both teams. Absolutely not. Losers don't get to go to the White House
Why?
unless they win an election. But in sports, losers don't go to the White House. Has that happened before?
No.
Am I totally wrong? Because that would be stupid. And here's the crazy part.
Lisa, are you spreading fake news? Where is this? Because I'm about to get fired up.
Here's
I
the
know you're not
crazy
spreading
part
fake
about
news,
this.
but-
You don't have to. Defending Angel Reese does not mean you are not defending Caitlin Clark. They're both really good basketball players. And they're both allowed to talk as much trash as they want to in their sport. And I'm sure they're both willing to take the trash talk
yeah.
as well, because neither of the players have really gotten into this. This is really a media pop culture thing now.
Oh, absolutely.
Caitlin Clark didn't come out and say, oh, I'm so offended by
No.
Angel Reese.
So Joe Biden was at the game.
Great.
I'm just saying, I was what they kept showing her. She
Okay.
was there watching the game. So apparently she was the one that said both teams earned it. Completely false. Probably one of the most false things come out of the White House. But apparently it says White House appears to walk back Iowa's joke invitation after NCAA loss.
I understand from a political side why you'd want to invite Iowa.
Okay, this is what she said. I know we'll have the champions come to the White House. We always do. So we hope LSU will come. But, I'm going to tell Joe I think Iowa should come too because they played such a good game.
Shut up.
That's not a real
Shut up,
invite.
Jill.
But
Stop
LSU star LSU star Angel Reese tweeted a link to a story on Jill Biden's remarks on Monday. A joke she wrote, along with 3 rolling on the floor laughing emojis.
Yeah, and I agree.
Angel Reese is very much what in the Michael Jordan documentary. Who's the player that trash talks the most? When you always
Michael Jordan?
yeah, but I guess, but Dennis Rodman didn't.
I mean, Dennis Rodman was just a crazy
But I feel
person.
like she's got that personality. She knows she's good,
She has the rock star vibe like Dennis Rodman did, yes. She doesn't care what you think of her.
and that's
Reggie Miller did talk a lot of crap.
okay. But because it's a female, it's not. And here we are again.
Yeah, I think I do like Reese's personality. She's a big personality.
It's
And
fun
she's-
to watch. It's a sport.
And
It's
this
a
is the
game.
crazy thing. There are so many athletes who have done such a good job of being the bad guys, and it helps the rest of the sport.
Yeah.
You think of the Conor McGregors, the Floyd Mayweathers, the people who talk the most.
The other guy.
I thought you were pointing at me.
The other guy. The Paul brothers. They're
Oh,
dicks,
yeah.
but
Jake and Logan Paul.
if everyone was just
If-
skipping around the field, handing each other flowers in the middle of a game to the opposite team because they like you, no one would care.
If Angel Reese becomes the bad guy in women's basketball, the bad woman,
Great for women's basketball.
it is great for the sport because people need those touch points, whether you are a rabid fan, whether you hate them. That's what makes sports great. And that's what brings in dollars. Well, it's what brings in viewers and then dollars.
Mhm.
So good for Angel Reese. Maybe this is what the sport needed to they're clearly getting people in the arenas.
Oh my
They're
God, it's
clearly getting
crazy.
people to watch some of the top level games. So maybe this is what they needed to go to that
Yeah.
next level. And it is. It's like the wrestling personas that have been perfected in WWE. Is you have a heel, you have a baby face, and that's what the audience wants. If everyone's this same lame niceness type
Yeah.
of thing, it's not exciting.
And obviously, there are times when you do see competitors helping one another.
Oh, yeah.
That happens all the time in sports. And we also want that too. But we like a little bit of both. You like little. I don't know what example I was going to use.
Muhammad Ali is another great example.
Oh,
A lot of people hated how much trash talk Muhammad Ali threw out there. And he was like
but
a lyricist as well. Muhammad Ali was like part rapper, part
float
boxer.
like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
He was able to rhyme
Did
and
he say
have.
that about himself?
He said a lot of things about himself.
I don't think he said that about himself. I thought someone else said it.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I don't know. I think it's
Well,
a quote to
someone
him.
else, I know.
Yeah, I think it's him.
Yeah, but when people respond yes and we say opposite things, we don't.
Oh yeah, when people just say yes in the chat.
Like cheerleading competitions, we were terrible people. But there was recently a cheerleading competition that went viral where the team's music cut out in the middle of their performance. Just boom,
That
dead.
sucks.
And all the other cheerleaders there started counting, doing the counts, which by the way, they changed the way. It's not 8 counts anymore. It's 4 counts.
Okay.
I was completely blown away. But the whole place did the beat of counts for them to compete. And I was like tearing up watching it. I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. But also, that doesn't mean that like 5 minutes ago, they weren't like, you suck. I hope you fall. Like,
Yeah.
and I also did see something that was like, Bring It On was so problematic. The movie Bring It On.
Why?
Like, about how these cheer teams hated each other. I was like, because they did. Like, that shit is real. That is sports.
Yeah.
You hate each other. But at the end, what happens? They're like, yeah, respect.
Moving on though from NCAA basketball, I think we've covered everything, right? UConn won yesterday. We talked about that
Oh, yeah.
earlier in the show. Probably one of the most dominating runs you'll see in a men's tournament. Every game was won by double digits.
Wow.
They really didn't have close games. And the crazy thing to think about is UConn only had 8 losses all season long, and Seton Hall accounts for 12.5% of those UConn losses. Go Pirates.
It's cool.
No, it's actually a crazy stat, and it shows how good the conference is, the Big East. UConn beat every single non-conference opponent they played. And I think their margin of victory on average was 24 points for everyone outside of the Big East. In the Big East, they were the fourth best team.
It's crazy.
It's wild. And yes, they hit a rough patch, lost a couple games in a row. That's why they ended up in fourth. They were still a top level Big East team. But it just shows how good that conference is and how hard it is to play teams that know you really, really well. And that's what the Big East is. Every conference, you know your opponents well. So shout out to UConn, shout out to LSU. And now I guess I can stop wasting all of my time watching college basketball.
But it's baseball time.
Yeah, but baseball I can do while I do other things.
Because it's so slow.
I can throw on the radio broadcast on the MLB app and listen at the gym. I can play it while I'm doing some work. I can cook.
You don't really have to pay attention. It's only every few minutes that something crazy happens.
And anything you miss, they're going to show 18 times, right? If you miss a home run because you looked away from the TV, they're going to show that at least 3 more times. Mm-hmm. So baseball's a much easier thing to watch and
I love baseball.
Do the rest of life. Bridezilla batch, Carla Marie.
Oh. So I had mentioned on the show yesterday that we are likely going to Puerto Rico for my niece's bachelorette party. And I had tweeted something along the lines like, hey, what do you think about Puerto Rico for a bachelorette party? Like, has anyone done it? Like, give me some tips. Because I love asking social media for advice.
Yeah.
And one woman responded, not like, I don't think she understood what I was asking, but this is what she said. I'm all for what makes the bride happy. Maybe make sure all the bridesmaids know if it's mandatory or not when asking them to be in the wedding, because that could be hard to swing for some and no one wants to let a friend down. Expectations from the start make less stress.
I mean, all of that makes sense.
I was like, but that's not what I was asking. But okay. So I said, wait, people make bachelorette parties mandatory in order to be in their bridal party? That makes no sense. And she said, girl, Bridezilla has made me terrified to say yes to a bridal party invite without making sure I've got all the knowledge. So like,
so if you are invited...
Well, she said bridal party invite. So if my niece, for example, this is not what's happening with my family, but if my niece said, Aunt Carla, I want you to be one of my bridesmaids. And I'm like, awesome. And she's like, but you have to be able to come to my bachelorette party whenever it is. Otherwise, you can't be in my wedding. That's what according to this woman. And when she said that, I was like, I have heard, like, if you can't come to my bachelorette party, I don't want you at the... But I'm like, well, what if someone, like...
Sometimes that just doesn't work.
Well, my niece's bachelorette party is in 9 months, right? I could get pregnant tomorrow and be popping out a baby then.
Yeah. It's just that's a very weird stipulation. You either want someone in your wedding or you don't. And obviously, if you want them in your wedding, I'm assuming you want them at both, ideally.
Right.
But I wouldn't.
And then there's the shower.
But I wouldn't knock someone. I wouldn't knock someone out of my bridal party if I thought they were that important to my life to begin with. If they unfortunately couldn't make it to my bachelor party.
Correct, because we are normal, sane human beings.
I don't know about that. In this case, we are.
Correct. But there are people that exist that are like, if you can't do X, Y, Z, you're not doing B.
You're not going back to A, I guess. Yeah, I don't think there's anyone that agrees with that.
No, I don't think anyone here would. But this is the thing. Listen, we talk about bridezillas all the time.
Yeah. Bridezillas, and I'm sure there are groomzillas. I haven't run into one yet. I hope to be one when I grow up one day. But it seems like everything about the bride's part of the wedding and the festivities beforehand are exponentially worse than the guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's been zero issue with any of the bachelor parties that I've ever been to. The one time there was a little bit of drama, it wasn't even drama. It was just a topic that I brought to the morning show years ago when someone asked if they could pay less of a share because they were of the bachelor party like split because they were going to sleep on a couch, which I brought it up because it was an interesting thing to talk about, but no one really cared.
No. And like these conversations though about different bachelorette party things, like we're in our 30s and they're still happening. Like our group chat with Erica, Jake, Ricky, and John, every other week it's like, hey, I just got invited to a bachelor or bachelorette party. This is what they're asking. Is this crazy? And like It's always like every one of us says yes and no to every answer because it's just,
Yeah.
there's no rule book. There are things that you morally expect people to do. They may not, but it's just, there are different things. Like it was, do you pay for the bride or groom at the bachelor? Like, is their trip completely paid for?
Yeah.
Some people say, yes, everything's paid for. Some say, no, they pay their own flight. You pay everything else. Like my sisters, we paid for everything,
Even a flight?
even her flight.
I'm trying to
Which
think
was
for
like
the...
actually, when you divide it by 12 girls, it was
It's-
like $10
Yeah,
each.
it's not bad. I think in my experience, I feel like the guy has paid for his own flight and then everything else is taken care of. Even when it was like hotel rooms, everyone just split their hotel room.
And for my sister, she basically said, I'm following suit as to what my group of friends, because there were like 9 of them, what we've done for all of theirs. And I was like, okay. But like, I would just be so different because I don't have a group of 8 friends that I've grown up with since pre-K, right? I've got people coming from all over. And that was kind of how Sam was, right? Sam was like, I think Sam paid for her own flight. We paid for everything else.
Which is
I think
normal.
makes sense.
Yeah.
But these things are expensive. And you're asking people a lot.
I feel like they're getting more over the top too.
Yeah.
They're becoming, because back in the day it was a night.
A night
Then
out.
it became a weekend. Sometimes you travel, or oftentimes you travel. And now people are doing like extended weeks or extended weekends, week-long events. It is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we
We've
talked
also-
about this earlier. Your life does change after you get married, for better or worse.
Mm-hmm.
And in reality, this might be the last time that group, that specific group of people goes out. So why not
Well,
go all out?
for the person getting married, it's often that one time you get your people together,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's very rare that you get this group that are all here for you together without their spouses, right? Like, getting to be one-on-one or getting your group to meet each other.
Yeah.
Like, I met so many of Sam's friends from childhood at her bachelorette party. I picked up one of them from the airport without knowing who she was,
Yeah.
and we like bonded right away, and it became great. And it was also awesome when the wedding came because we were all partying together. Like, it just, for that person, yes, that's why you're doing it. You just hope that that person has a little bit of respect.
Yeah. Martha said that hers was 12 years ago and they just went to dinner and dancing in New York City.
I mean, and that makes sense.
My cousin Paul, when he got married, his bachelor party was just a night out in New York. We all lived in the area. There was 7 of us that went, and that's all we did. I want to pull up this comment from Neon Climber. She said, my younger sister agreed to be in my wedding party and made her own rules. She showed up right before pictures. When I pushed back on her, she turned it around on me. If you agree to be a bridesmaid, you need to do what the bride says. It's her day. Respect that.
Okay.
And I think we're talking about 2 different things.
Yes.
Agree 100%. The day of the wedding, especially because the bride has to do way more things with her getup, everything that she's got going
Her
on.
costume.
Yeah, the day of the wedding, if you agree to be in the wedding party, you're there to make sure that their day is great. It's not about you at all. You're essentially a servant to the bride or the groom. So Neon Climber, your sister was being a little bit of an a-hole.
Yeah, and Neon Climber just got married, so that's a fresh wound.
But I think in terms of everything else, you just have to remember, even though it's your big day
It's not someone else's.
and the preparations are very important to you, everyone else also has a life.
Yeah.
And we don't all live in the same little community anymore. People are traveling. Like, there have been bachelor parties that I just couldn't get to
I know.
because of a handful of different reasons.
So your brother said, debate this. Should you do club getaway for his bachelor party?
If he wants to.
Yes, because that's so cool. I wanted to do it for my sister's bachelorette party.
Yeah, I mean, this is where...
Well, you probably would have to plan it. Oh, God. Justin, maybe to call me.
Well, no, if my brother Justin wants to do Club Getaway, and if you're not familiar with Club Getaway, we got to do that a couple of years ago before we moved to...
And after.
Yeah, in 2016 and 2017.
2015 and 2016.
Whatever. We got to go to Club Getaway, which is in Connecticut,
Uh-huh.
and it's a normal summer camp for kids during the week, and on the weekends they do adult summer camp. And you get to do all the things at summer camp, like color wars, where you have your team and you're all like in your colors and playing all the field day games.
The clear blow-up balls, and you play soccer in them.
They have themed parties at nights. They had like a toga night. They have like a
silent
neon
disco.
thing, silent disco.
So fun.
So adult summer camp. And if you want to do adult summer camp for your bachelor party and your friends are going to enjoy it, go for it.
Or are you gonna go?
Yeah, I'll be there.
You said-
I'll be wherever it is. I'm the worst person to ask for this stuff because I'll just always defer back to the person whose party it is.
Of course.
What do you want to do?
Yeah.
If you want to do it,
And
we'll
the best
do it.
part is everything is planned for you.
Yeah, you show up and it's all there.
That's also
And then
like
you buy the extra wristband and I think it's all you can drink,
it's,
right?
yeah, unlimited. What is that? Open bar. That's why I'm like, honestly, I kind of want to do like a 3-day cruise out of Miami. It's all like, listen,
Yeah.
I see the itinerary. We're all going here, here, here. Boom, done. We get 3 conjoining rooms.
And the bachelor or bachelorette, I think, has a good idea of what their people will enjoy too. Right?
Like, I'm not going to Vegas for my bachelorette party because I can tell you right now that group would be like, I gotta go to bed at 10, and I'd be like, I'm with you. So,
But you can also do that in Vegas.
I know, but it would like then I feel like just go somewhere else.
Maybe.
Because that's not what like. It's also so much money to do things there when like no one out of my group really wants to go to a club.
Yeah.
We'd go to a club ironically, but not like yeah we love clubs.
Okay. Then they'll go.
But is there going to be Thunder Down Under on a cruise?
Probably not.
And I can't go.
I don't think so.
I really want that.
But I also had a friend, like, so speaking of strip clubs and things like that, I had my old roommate in college wanted no part of any of that. He wanted no clubs, no strip clubs, nothing. So we went to Disney. And everyone had a great time.
Yeah. It's Me Meech said, I'm all for batch parties, but at 36, it would be ideal if the itinerary wasn't packed full of clubs. Call me an old lady, but I'd love to drink by a pool with just the people in the party. And so it's funny. So Michelle and I both have nieces getting married, and we're both very much in the same position right now of like, we're in our 30s. So my niece like sends out the group chat the other day about the bridal party and the dress and all this stuff. And I'm like, everyone's like saying different things. And I'm like, man, I'm the oldest. This is the second bachelorette party or bridal party where I'm the oldest because in Sam's I was, in this one I am. And I was like, I'm the oldest. And I was like, by the way, if you guys haven't figured out, it's Aunt Carla because they all didn't have my number and they all call me that, all of their friends.
Okay.
So I'm going to be at a
Aunt Carla.
bachelorette party in Puerto Rico. My sister's like, listen, I will happily fall second to you on this one. Enjoy it.
So I'll give you this. I understand saying, oh, I don't love clubs, whatever. Here's an interesting perspective on that, though.
Okay.
If you are out of the club life, I think it's more of a reason to throw a club into one of the nights during a bachelorette party.
Absolutely.
Because here's the interesting thing. I remember going to my friend Sean's bachelor party. We were all in our mid-20s, 26 or so. We went up to Montreal, and it was a great time. Like, some of my favorite people in the world.
Can you tell everybody the story?
Which one?
I have to pee.
What do you mean? What's
I'll hear you from the bathroom.
Yeah, go for it. But the difference was most of us were in a time in our lives where we were going to clubs all the time. It wasn't like special. We lived in New York. We'd go to clubs. I was working in radio, so I had a lot of connections with different managers and bars and whatnot. So even as fun as it was a normal night of idiocy for me and my friends. Whereas now, because we go to less clubs, I feel like it would be more fun going because it's rarer. It's more rare, whatever. That we would do that together as a large group. Does that make sense to anyone? Or is it too all over the place? I don't know. But that's why I think going to a club, even when you're older at a bachelorette party, is pretty fun. And yeah, it just has to be one night. You don't have to do it all the time. Did you hear what I said? Yes. Okay. A couple of people are saying they agree.
I think one club night is fun. Like for Sam's though, our club night was the Disney night.
Yeah.
And for my sisters, we did one night out, but we went to it was like a country bar, but it was very much like a club vibe. And but it was also COVID, so we had plexiglass in between each booth, and we couldn't mingle with other guests, which was honestly so amazing.
The other big difference between a group of girls going out for a bachelorette party and a group of guys going out for a bachelor party is if you were to go even to a big bar that happens to have some table service, generally speaking, if you don't have a table of your own, someone's going to invite you to that space, and you'll have your own private area.
We did.
As a group of guys, you're not getting that. So as a group of guys, you're going to buy a table anyway, 90% of the time.
Yeah.
If you're going to a place that's that packed. I mean, when I went to Nashville, there was a dozen of us. So imagine trying to get a dozen guys into a bar on Broadway where the lines are already out the door. It's impossible. Then when I went to Austin for Steve's bachelor party, there was like 22 of us.
Yeah, you need plans.
So we had 2 tables next to each other. So it has to be a little more deliberate when you're a group of guys.
Meech said, 1 club, no problem. I'm about to go on a 3-day club bender
Nice.
in 2 weeks, and I literally can't wrap my mind around it. So anxious.
But you know what? You probably haven't done that in a long time. You'll do it. You'll get it out of your system. You'll have some good stories. And then you go back to our regular boring lives.
Yeah.
Not saying your life is boring, but like regular lives, you know?
Non-clubbing lives.
83 Marie Smith said, I bartended on the weekends for 10 years at my local bar. I'm totally down for just a chill party at a friend's house. Done with drinking
Yeah,
out
that's
scene,
fair.
no matter if it's a club, bar, etc.
That's fair.
Makes sense. But wouldn't you want to be on the other side of it, not working it?
Yeah. But if that's been your whole life all the time, that's tough.
Yeah. It's me, Meech said, my life is boring. It's fine.
Well, you're going to a bachelor party that's just golfing, right?
Well, golf will be part of it. I'm sure we're going out at night.
Imagine it's just golfing.
No, I think people were trying to figure out how close we're staying to downtown. We're going to Charleston in the summer. So I'm going to be very sweaty
Yeah, that's going to be
the whole time. But it's going to be great. It's, again, this is where I think we all have to relax a little bit and just go with the flow. Yeah, are there things that would I want to spend most of my day golfing? It's not something I would do, but I'm going to spend it with
Yeah, your friend.
people I absolutely love, and it's going to be a great time. If you just go to the thing
Yeah.
and stop trying to manage every detail about it, you're going to have a good
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, but like
Go
just
to the
golfing
thing.
and going to a for me, if I'm like into the mood at a club, like yeah, it's great. But there are times when I get there and I'm like, it's full blown. Like I can't fully explain it because it's not a panic attack. Because I don't want to say that because I know people really have those. I just can't do it. And it's not like, oh, I hate being here. It's the noise, the packed. It hits me here, and I'm like, I can't be here. I can't be here. I can't be here. And it sucks. I don't want that to happen, but it does.
Yeah.
Maybe it is a panic attack. So that, opposed to being on the sun and the golf and having fun with your friends, are 2 completely different things for me. I'd rather be golfing.
I would rather do all of it. Just do everything. I don't get a chance to be with these people as often as I'd like to, so I'm just going to do everything. We're going to have a great time, and I'm not going to worry about the itinerary of what we're doing when we're there. And
Well,
I know
of course you're not, because you don't plan.
Well, and I was going to say, I
anything.
know Carla Marie makes fun of me because I don't plan anything. Here's the interesting thing. I can plan a great long weekend for a bunch of people. My thing is always, normally, especially with my friends who are back on the East Coast, they're all together
Oh,
all
yeah,
the time.
Yeah.
I'll usually defer to them, even in group chats, unless someone needs my opinion. I'm going to do what the group wants to do. I'm going to
course.
go with the flow and going to be just enjoying myself. If you need me to jump in, call some people, make some plans, book some things, just ask, and I'm going to do it. But too many people doing that, that's when you get
Oh, of course.
drama. That's when you get nonsense. So unless it's
It's
needed,
also not your job to plan this bachelor party.
no.
No.
But if it was needed, I would. It just not, and maybe that's where the biggest difference between the drama in planning a bachelor party to the drama compared to the drama of planning a bachelorette party is maybe there are just more women involved who want to be involved in the planning process and get their opinions heard. And usually guys are just like, yeah, whatever. Tell me what to do. I'll be there. Maybe that ends up being the basis for the biggest differences
Maybe.
in both. I don't know. What do we got in the chat? Let's see. For the mailman, I
already
only
did
ever went
that.
to clubs to
Oh,
pick up
it's-
women. Now I
put it on the screen already
where did the whole chat go? It just
because it knew that message was up there already.
no, the whole chat like cleared
That's
on my
weird.
side.
Fred also said he only would go to a club if he owned it.
That's a good reason to go. I don't know what happened with his chat,
That's bizarre.
but it is 9/11. We hit all of the topics we had today.
We did.
And I think that's a good time to wrap it up. Don't forget, you can listen to the Morning Show podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. We would love if you checked it out. And if you haven't done so yet, if you're on Apple or Spotify or any app that allows you to rate that podcast, just give us that 5-star, leave a positive review, because that goes a long way in helping us build towards our goal.
You know, ever since you made the bless you emote, I haven't sneezed on this stream.
Maybe I should have done it weeks ago.
Seriously, I sneezed twice this morning before though.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We will see you Thursday.
I'll be live from New Jersey.
Later.